Hello. Can you imagine walking into a college classroom feeling not very confident about your ability to read, knowing that you have a lot of reading assignments ahead of you? Well, I'm speaking to college students, so I know that most of you probably know how to read very well. My name is Annette Hudson, and I work for the Flippin High School. I help students who have difficulty reading. Reading is very, very essential nowadays. In our classes, the internet, there's so many forms of things to read, and we have to process through them. Some people, 1 out of 5 people, struggle with dyslexia, which is a language-based disability. I use the Barton reading and spelling system in my job. Jonathan Kozel wrote in a book called The Teacher Who Couldn't Read that words, spoken and written, are the building blocks of life. I really agree with that. When you're able to read well, you develop your mind, you can read books, and you develop your self-image, and you can use your imagination well. And as I mentioned earlier, there's so much reading to do with all the technology. The International Association of Dyslexia defines dyslexia as a language-based learning disability or disorder that includes poor word reading, word decoding, oral reading, fluency, and spelling. Statistics are saying that 1 out of 5 school-age students struggle with some form of dyslexia. Now, dyslexia is not a form of retardation at all. It occurs in all backgrounds and all intellectual IQs. But a dyslexic brain can learn with the appropriate teaching method. The Barton reading and spelling system is based on the Orton-Gillingham method, which is a multi-sensory style of learning. This includes visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and tactile pathways to enhance memory and the learning of the written language. It is also explicit, it must be explicit, intense, and cumulative. I'll explain that a little bit. I have 14 students that come see me twice a week for 45 minutes at a time. We work through a program. There are 10 levels or 10 books that we work through. So it's very explicit, it's very intensive because it's one-on-one and it's cumulative. I'm going to give you a demonstration of what I do on a daily basis with these students. Some of the first things that we start with are splitting up letters into their sounds, their phonemic sounds. There's consonants and then there's vowels. We spend quite a bit of time on the vowels, learning the short sound. Most students know the long sound really well, but I want them to get the short sounds very strong in their minds. And then we begin to break up words into syllables. This is a one-syllable word, the word spend, and it has a short vowel, and it's closed off by consonants, so we call this a closed syllable. And then we practice a lot with what we call nonsense words. Nonsense words are very helpful because the student isn't relying on their memory of words that they've memorized over the years, that they have to break these words apart, such as scone, and spell a nonsense word. Then as we move along every day with a new concept, we're learning all kinds of reasons why the English language is the way that it is, such as the milk truck rule. When you hear the k at the end of a word, what do you use? A k, a k, or a ck? Okay, here's what we learn. You use a k when there's a consonant. When there's a short vowel, you use a ck. These are things that we learn and we implement, and we work a whole program in the 45 minutes that reinforces these things in their minds. Then as we continue and they get higher in the levels, students are taught that when they see a large word, to not be afraid of it. We've learned to break it down. This is a prefix. This disagreement. So they break this word apart. Now, this doesn't sound like a or a. This is a schwa. This is an a that in the middle of a word makes the sound Then here is a syllable, gree, and then here is a suffix. So then they've learned to break this word apart, disagreement. We put it all together, and there you go. So dyslexia is identifiable and trainable by retraining brain pathways. Reading is so important, and reading is really a passion of mine. Reading just takes you to anything you want to learn. It takes you to worlds, made-up worlds, real worlds. Reading is an awesome skill to be good at. And I am really so proud and so thankful that I have this job, that I'm able to help students learn how to read. Now, just for information's sake, if you're not in high school and you're out of high school, and if you know any adults or anybody, this program, the Barton Reading and Spelling System, is offered free of charge from the Twin Lakes Literacy Council, which you can just Google that and find their number and give them a call. So thank you very much.